young girl, I used to travel to Jamaica and visit my family and my grandmother. And my grandmother lives on this piece of land that's extremely beautiful. And on that land, she has all these different types of trees. And every morning we would wake up, we'd have breakfast, and we'd have always some sort of fresh juice. Guava juice, mango juice, cherry juice, just juice. And it was amazing. And since then, I've just learned, like, making juice is a very, very easy, simple thing. It's delicious, it's nutritious, and it's absolutely wonderful. So I'm making my strawberry lime cucumber cooler. So we're gonna start off with some fresh limes. And it's very important to always rinse your produce, especially citrus. Citrus, they tend to use a lot of pesticides in the crops, and of course it coats the peel. Now, while we're not necessarily using the peel in this drink, it's still very important simply because as we use this wonderful citrus juicer that I actually got from my mom, it's in my family for generations, as we're squeezing the juice out, you'll notice that there's a tendency that the peel itself can come in contact with the actual juice, and that's something we don't want. And you can use produce rinses. There's several in the market. You can use those, that's fine, as well as you can use a natural produce rinse. And to get a recipe for a natural produce rinse, please visit www.naturiabeauty.com and check the blog. So I'm just going to juice 3 limes. Nowadays, they have all type of funky citrus squeezers. I kind of like the old-fashioned way. It feels like I'm really working. Once I finish juicing all of my lime juice that I have, I'm going to add my lime juice into this pitcher here with a little bit, well, not a little bit, just enough water so that it's not tart. So take my lime juice, add it to the container. I used to make lemonade as a child all the time, and limeade was one of my favorite drinks. In Jamaica, we make limeade all the time. We call it drinks, yes, with an S on it. And essentially, it's just lime, water, and brown sugar. But that's how we're making today. Today, we're making our strawberry lime cucumber cooler. So I'm going to fill my pitcher up with some water, and I think it's really important to use filtered water. You just use straight tap water. It has a lot of contaminants, but I think most of us know that by now. But just in case, you know, like if you're not using tap water, then definitely maybe bottled water. If you have a filter, please employ it. That's what it's for. And now I want to focus on taking my cucumber. I have a cucumber here. Cucumbers, you're like, what? A vegetable in a juice? You'd be surprised how amazing it is. Cucumber's another thing that you really, really want to make sure that you wash properly. Simply because cucumbers are covered, yes, in an outside skin, and that skin is edible. So you don't want to consume all the pesticides and the bad stuff. Turn it on, give it a spin. All that wonderful juice coming out. So one whole cucumber is going to do the trick. We're just going to let all of that kind of come together and make sure it comes out well. Still dripping a little bit. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to take my cucumber and I'm just going to strain it a little bit, simply because when you're juicing, sometimes there tends to be this foam on top. I'm not really interested in the foam. So that way I can just kind of sit on a little bit and strain out. So adding my one whole cucumber into my drink, yes. And next, I want to take strawberries. So I have a few strawberries here. You can use as many as you like, truthfully. I'm just using a few. And again, strawberries is something else that you want to make sure you rinse properly. Simply because strawberries have this outer skin, but we eat it. So that outer skin also comes in contact with pesticides and with all those other bad things that we don't want in our bodies. Contaminants. So I'm going to take the strawberries and I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the green part. We're not necessarily trying to juice that. And I'm not really interested in washing the juicer completely because after all, we're mixing these flavors. So it's okay if a little bit of cucumber juice gets into the strawberries. Bad boys. And if you don't have a juicer, no worries. Use a blender. That works too. We're gonna let that drain a little bit. And I mean, if you're just one of those all natural all the way, then you probably don't want to add any sweetener because the strawberries themselves are pretty sweet. and they can do a decent job of sweetening the juice. But if not, then definitely you want to go ahead and add in some type of sweetener. There's so many sweeteners out there, it's like, what do you choose from, right? There's agave nectar, there's stevia, there's sugar. We're gonna use agave nectar. Agave nectar is a natural sweetener. It comes from a cactus. It's actually the inside, like the pulp almost, of a cactus. And it also kind of puts in the mindset of honey. Pours like syrup, not as thick as honey, and it's just really, really, really tasty. So I'm gonna add a little bit of agave nectar. Sweeteners is something that's about taste, you know? However sweet you like it. I happen to like my juices really, really, really sweet. So add a little bit of agave, maybe a little more. Go ahead and mix that in there. And I also like to mix sugar. Sugar and agave nectar come together really, really nicely. Sugar itself, you can use turbinado sugar, you can use demerara sugar. I rarely use a processed white sugar. You know, the kind that you get in a big bag that's like, I don't know, $1. It's kind of cheap. But while it's cheap and affordable, it's not the best. And so it's your body. Invest in it, you know? Have my sugar container here. And get my spoon. Just gonna add some sugar. And again, there's no specific measurement, you know, like you just add it to taste. And then once you have it incorporated really nicely and the sugar's kind of dissolved, the agave nectar is no longer sticking to the bottom, and it's just kind of mixed well in there, then you want to go ahead and take it and give it a pour. So let's try it and see how our strawberry lime cucumber cooler has turned out. Color is definitely going to vary. Sometimes you can have a very red color. Sometimes it can be a little muted. Sometimes it can be this. Who knows what color this is, but it doesn't matter. It's tasty. Very nice. Very nice. I can taste the lime, I can taste cucumber, and the strawberries. They come together nicely. So for this recipe and more, join us at www.thetreebeauty.com as we continue to nourish, nurture,